August 8, 1956 was a morning like any other at the Bois du Cazier mine in Marcinelle, Belgium. Hundreds of men went underground to mine coal. Many of them were Italian. They had left their country in search of work, hoping for a better life. Unfortunately, that's not what they were to find. In the post-war period, thousands of Italians emigrated to Belgium. This was the result of an agreement between the two countries. Belgium had a shortage of labor to work in the 19th century coal mines of Wallonia. On the other hand, many Italians needed work, and Italy, still reeling from its defeat in the Second World War, required raw materials and energy. Italy therefore sent workers, whilst Belgium supplied coal, an essential resource for reconstruction. Between 1946 and 1956, more than 140,000 Italians set off for the mines of Wallonia. On the morning of August 8, however, something went wrong. It was around 8:10. Some small wagons were being loaded onto one of the two lifts in shaft 1, but they became jammed, with their ends protruding outwards. Before the operator can rectify the situation, whether due to an error or a misunderstanding, the unthinkable happens. The lift is activated to move upwards. The protruding carriage strikes a metal structure. Electrical cables, oil lines and compressed air pipes are severed. A spark ignites a fire. Within moments, the fire engulfs the main shaft. This is the air intake shaft and the fans are running. As a result, smoke and toxic combustion gases spread rapidly through the underground tunnels. The miners are trapped hundreds of meters underground. On the surface, the alarm is raised. Rescue workers, firefighters and volunteers rush to the scene, but the fire cuts off all access roads. At a depth of 715 meters, a miner jots down in his notebook, "I've returned from hell." This will be his last words. For days, they try the impossible. They dig, they search, they hope, but the smoke has already done its devastating work. After 2 weeks of searching, a rescuer emerges from the mine and utters a terrible final sentence destined to go down in history. Nothing but corpses. The death toll is staggering. 262 dead out of 275 people present. Among them were 136 Italians. Only 13 people survived. Marcinelle thus became one of the worst industrial tragedies of the 20th century and one of the most painful chapters in history of Italian immigration. In the months and years that followed, investigation and trials were launched. The authorities sought to establish who was responsible and to find answers. In the end, there was just one conviction, a very lenient one given the sheer scale of the disaster. For the victims' families, truth and justice would remain a mirage. So much for the account of the tragedy. Yet Marcinelle is not and must not remain merely that. Marcinelle is also a warning and an opportunity to remember the importance of health and safety at work, of prevention, and of the dignity of every worker. Behind every employee number, every job role, every link in the production chain, there are people, families, dreams, and sacrifices. Today, the Bois du Cazier mine is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and preserves the memory of that day. And it is no coincidence that the European Commission, in response to a request made by Marina Calderone, the Italian Minister of Labour and Social Policies, announced a proposal to designate
8 August, the anniversary of the disaster, as the European Day in memory of the victims of accidents at work and for the protection of workers' dignity.
Remembering Marcinelle means looking back at the past and learning from it. It means working to ensure that no one ever has to lose their lives simply because they are doing their job.